While buying some other stuff on eBay, I saw some of these connectors, and it's one of these things that, you know, if you bought one of the connectors, it was marginally cheaper than buying a big pack of, I don't know, was it 20 or something I got? There was very little difference in price as it went up in quantity. Most of it seemed to be the posting. These seem to be really a very common connector. And they reminded me of the Wago type connectors that you push the wires in and they latch, but they're not the same quality. They're certainly not the isolation and strength. But these ones are interesting because you can actually release the connection just by pressing down and putting a wire in. I'll show you, I'll just put a wire in right now. So you measure the wire around about 5mm and you strip it to that, and then you just push it in. That's just under a quarter of an inch, and it grips. It really grips tight. Now that's the insulation peeling back as I pull that, because as I say, you can touch the end of these connectors. It's something that I wouldn't put it in any sort of really exposed-ish area. It's definitely for use in a panel, but also making sure that you know that there is going to be exposed metal at the edge of these. And it's just at one side, it's fully closed at the other side, and the reason for that is the way it's made. So here's a notepad, and I'll show you how this works. The housing has the body is like this. Oops, that's a wee slight bit wobbly line already. And the bottom is actually quite thick of it. It's quite a thick base to it. Then it goes up to the top, which is fairly thickish again, and there's a little stop at one end that sort of closes that off. It's a little smaller window than the other side, and the reason for that is that the contact goes in from one side. There's a sort of raised chimney in the top, if you will, with a hole through, and this is a stainless steel strip. It's got very low magnetic attraction. It's very sharp and springy, and it's shaped like this. And it's got a hole punched through here. And what actually happens is you push that in from one side, well, the factory pushes it in from one side, and it slides in until it hits that stop. And because it's springy, and I'll just draw how it would look when it was in. So that's sprung right up against the top. Because it's springy, it hits that stop, but also because it's being pushed in and it's scraping against the plastic, it latches in. It's quite, to get it out, you actually have to press that down and push it out at the same time. The button assembly in the top has a pin that goes right down through the body and locks the metal contact in too. And it's got that sort of type of plastic torsion hinge in it, you know, no actual physical hinge mechanism, it's just the flexibility of the plastic. And that has slightly curved buttons with a ribbing in the top, and then two blades that go down and touch the top of that springy strip. And seen from the side, those blades just touch the strip at the edge as they go through the casing. And what that means is that when you press that down and they go in, they push the springy metal strip down to let you put the wire in there, and then when you release those, it springs back up again and it traps the wires against the top of the casing. And because it's quite sharp and it's springy, and because of the way it's angled, the more you pull, the tighter it's going to try and grip the wire. So yeah, they look quite neat. They're novel. As I say, this just slides in from one end like this. Oop, I'll have to push that one down to get it in as well. Well, I've completely messed that up now, haven't I? I shall push it in with a screwdriver. There we go. Then this little button just goes down, and see, it's got the two blades underneath, and that just goes in and locks it in. And it seems to be a friction fit into that, and then it does click. And then once you've got that in, you can see the action of it pressing those down to actually open the little port for the cable to be inserted. And it's nice that you can, you know, put the cables in and out. Yeah, nice little connectors, I have to say. I'm not sure I've got a use for them, but it's going to be quite useful. It's quite useful for low voltage as well, I should think.